What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel for another rebuild challenge. This series is all about us taking a team that aren't doing as well as they historically have done and trying to take them back to the promised land, the top of their division, the top of their country, to see if we can give them success again. We've done so many of these now, but this year I've not done one in Scotland, and we're heading north of the border, and it's obviously not who you think. It's not Celtic, it's not Rangers, we're talking Aberdeen. Now we're going to Aberdeen to try and replicate the success that was had by Sir Alex Ferguson at Aberdeen before he moved on to Manchester United. Can we get it done? Only time will tell. If you like the rebuild content, guys, please do drop a like on the video down below. It really does help get the video out there to as many people as humanly possible and helps with that YouTube algorithm. And if you are new around here, please do consider hitting that subscribe button as well whilst you are down there to join the channel as we move on to our next subscriber goal of 15,000 subscribers. But without any further ado, let's dive in and take a look at that success that Sir Alex had at Aberdeen. So guys, we are now north of the border. We are with Aberdeen. They are one-time UEFA Cup winners, Cup champions in 1983, a UEFA Super Cup in the same year, 7 Scottish Cups, most recently in 1990. They've won the Scottish title most recently in 1985, a Premier Sports Cup on 6 occasions, most recently 2014. And the Aberdeenshire Cup, which I don't think is a thing anymore, or if it is, they're not in it. I don't know how this works. Most recently in 2005. Please do excuse my Scottish footballing ignorance. It's not an area that I pay a huge amount of attention to. I'll say that right off the rip. But we are Aberdeen. We are Aberdeen. This is the team that we are going to use. This is the tactic as well. This is the GWRFM and my collab, the Incredible Hulk tactic. It's very good. The reason I'm using this, guys, I know you like me creating my own tactics for these rebuilds. I'm basically using it as some exposure. These videos do really, really well, so I just want to give a little bit of a push to this tactic. You can check out the tactic. The link will be down in the description. Please do go and check it out. It is an absolute monster, hence being named the Incredible Hulk. There are some issues in this team that I can see already. There's a lot of age in this team. Scott Brown, obviously, someone who everyone will know, 36 years of age, fantastic mentals, really bad physicals. So it's going to be an interesting one. We've obviously got J. Emmanuel Thomas, a former Bristol City man, so I have a little bit of an affiliation with Jet. Really hoping that he can be as good as he used to be back in his Bristol City days. And we've also got this guy here, Calvin Ramsey, probably the best player at the club in terms of ability and potential. 17 years of age. He's going to be playing right back for us. The challenge will be to see if we can hold on to him for the entire 5 years of this rebuild. In terms of some of the other stuff, guys, we are obviously in these 4 competitions. We are in the Cinch Premiership, we are in the Europa Conference League, the Scottish Cup, and the Premier Sports Cup. We don't enter those domestic cup competitions for a little bit of time, but we do have the second qualifying round of the Europa Conference League coming this season, which is going to be very interesting. In terms of the club vision and how they expect me to get on in those competitions, they want us to reach the 4th qualifying round as a minimum of the Europa Conference League, qualify for the Europa Conference League again via the domestic league, and they also want us to reach the quarterfinals of both domestic cups. And then beyond that, they want to be considered the best of the rest in Scotland. I have slightly higher aspirations for the club, but I don't know if it's feasible to get ourselves past Rangers and Celtic. In terms of the finances and stuff, guys, not great. We've got a 250k budget. We're almost spending on the limit of our wage budget. We've only got around £4,000 a week to deal with there. In terms of debts and loans, we don't have any, so that is a positive, but obviously the financial implications and financial revenue within Scotland, not as good as some of the other leagues within Europe, and definitely not as good as the Premier League. If we go into the competitions tab, though, and we have a look at the Cinch Premiership, obviously Rangers are the holders. If we go into the season preview, you can see we have odds of 50 to 1 to make ourselves champions, shall we say. We are behind Rangers, Celtic, Hearts and Hibs to see if we can get that job done on the same odds as Dundee United as well. So we're kind of in that chasing pack, but we're definitely nowhere near the 2 teams at the top, which is kind of to be expected. But hopefully over the course of this, we can kind of correct that. I will simulate this entire first season. Let's see how we get on. Let's see if we can put the cat amongst the pigeons alongside the big boys in Scotland. So guys, end of the season, and it's been a pretty spectacular one if you ask me. And we were knocked out in the semi-finals of the Premier Sports Cup by Celtic, disappointing in the Scottish Cup, knocked out by Alloa Athletic, really poor in that fourth round there, not reaching the quarter-finals like was expected. We did reach the fourth qualifying round of the Europa Conference League, where we were knocked out by Union Berlin. Really disappointed to not make the group stages there. But if we go into the stages of the league table, you can see we are the third place team. We are the best of the rest, but there is a considerable margin between ourselves and Celtic and Rangers. 12 points between us and them, despite having what I would say is a very good season. 19 victories, 11 draws, 8 losses, 84 goals scored, 49 goals conceded. So probably defensively is where we need to tighten up. The goal difference is good. We're in a good spot, but we really need to take things to the next level. We obviously do qualify though for the Europa League next time around, so that is a very big positive, and we need to somehow manage to get ourselves into those top 2 spots to get that Champions League qualification. So in terms of everything though, guys, I think we've done pretty well. If we go onto the home screen, you can kind of see some of the stats here. Marley Watkins, top goal scorer for the club, 30 goals for him. Calvin Ramsey, the fullback we said we would struggle to hold on to, had a very good year. Highest average rating for him, and 23 assists in all comps, so that is a very big positive from him from right back. We did pretty well in terms of the season. I'm quite happy with how things went in the league. We are, 12 points away from Hibs, but also then 12 points behind Rangers and 13 points behind Celtic, who ultimately did go and win the league. In terms of the finances though, guys, going into season number 2, we've got 1.1 million, which is a decent amount of budget to spend. We've increased our wage budget as well by around another £10,000 a week. So as I said, we've really got some flexibility here. We do have a number of players in the squad who are expiring their contracts, as you can see here, and we will not be renewing them. Michael Devlin and some of these other guys, yeah, they're not quite at the level that I want them to be. So we are going to look at making some changes in this transfer window. So I'll be back with a transfer update for season 2 right now. Right then, guys, going into season number 2, where we're looking to close this gap on the 2 teams in Glasgow, we have made some signings. We've signed Ross Doohan, a goalkeeper. He has come in to be our first choice goalkeeper. I think he's a nice little improvement on what we have had there in that position already. We've also signed Calvin Bassey. He comes in on loan from Rangers as a centre-back or full-back option. I think he's a good little player. I didn't realise that he doesn't enjoy big matches, but I think throughout the course of the season, he really will be an improvement for us in that position. We've also signed Karim Konate. Now, I love this striker, but unfortunately we signed him for not a lot of money. He comes in to Aberdeen for 240k, but he couldn't get a work permit, so unfortunately I've had to loan him out to Leganés in Spain. He's playing in La Liga, and I'm hoping he does play as an important player, get some games under his belt so I can actually activate that work permit. Then we can bring him back to Scotland, because this man is a very good player, and I think would do very good things over in Scotland. In terms of some of the other stuff, guys, we've had a couple of outgoings, only for 12.5k's worth there, and then a couple of others there. Obviously, there is Karim Konate's loan. We've also brought in James MacArthur on a free transfer. He's been released by Crystal Palace. I think he could do a job. Yes, I know I had Scott Brown. Yes, I know he's an old Scottish player. He's probably not the right fit for us in that middle of the park, but I think I wanted a senior head to be in that position to kind of see if we can run things forward. If we go on a quick pick without restriction of our best 11, this is kind of what you can see here. Ross Doohan in goal, Ramsey, Bates, McCrory, Bassey, Ferguson, MacArthur, Brown, Emmanuel Thomas, Ramirez, and Watkins. We've made some changes and brought some players in. Obviously, Karim Konate is there on the bench. Calvin Ramsey is transfer listed by request. He wants to leave. He wants to go to a bigger club, but nobody paying the price tag on him just yet. So hopefully we can have him for another season. In terms of the competitions, though, here are the 4 competitions that we are in. We do enter the playoffs, the playoff qualification stage of the Europa League, and then obviously the 3 domestic competitions. Have we progressed in terms of the odds for the Scottish Premiership? Let's have a little peek. In the season preview, we are now 33-1, so we've closed the gap a little bit according to the bookies before we go into the season, but it still seems that Celtic and Rangers are going to battle it out for that all-important Scottish title. So let's simulate season 2. Let's get into it. So then, guys, end of season 2, and here we are. In terms of the competitions, not really fantastic. Knocked out in the quarterfinals of the Premier Sports Cup by Celtic, knocked out in the quarterfinals of the Scottish Cup by Rangers, knocked out of the Europa League in that playoff. We lost to Feyenoord 4-2 in the playoff, which meant we dropped into the Europa Conference League group stage, of which we were knocked out as well. We were in a group with Southampton, Standard Liège, and Dunajská Streda. I don't know who this team are. They are some from Slovakia, but we did not make it through. Southampton top in that group with 13 points. We only managed to get ourselves 7. So out of European competition relatively early on in the season. So that meant we could focus on the Premiership. Right, so if we go into the stages and expand this fully, here is the league table. We did finish in 3rd again, but in my mind we had a much better season. We've grown, we've got more points than last season. We are now only 2 points behind Rangers, who finished in 2nd, who were then in turn 6 points behind Celtic, who won the division, almost scoring 100 goals, which is not too bad at all. But we are now 25 points clear of Hibs in 4th, so we've really moved things up in terms of the league campaign, and I think we've gone on to do really well. If we go onto the home screen, you can kind of see Marley Watkins again with the top goal scorer for the club, 21 goals for him. Calvin Ramsey still here, still hasn't left. Highest average rating and 19 assists for him, doing very good things. We still have Scott Brown. I think his contract's expiring at the end of the year, but as you can see, goals scored, goals conceded, we're the 3rd best team in Scotland. It's kind of goes without saying. If we do go into this squad, we do have quite a lot of aging players. As you can see, Scott Brown's going, James MacArthur's going, J. Emmanuel Thomas is going, Marley Watkins. This squad is old, guys. We are going to try and recoup as much as we can and see what we can do with it. We also do have this youngster here, David Clark, coming through the youth intake. He is 16 years of age, a 4.5-star potential player. I think he could be a little bit of a baller for us moving forward, so we'll keep an eye on David Clark as things go. And obviously we do still have Calvin Ramsey, who's now valued at 8.5 to 12.5 million. I put an asking price of 20 million on him, and he wants to move to a bigger club, but he is still a Aberdeen player as things stand going into season number 3 of this Aberdeen rebuild. 3.2 million pounds though. The balance is going up. We're going in the right direction. Our wage budget is absolutely almost doubled, which is fantastic news for us. We can go and get those free transfers in as we look to build, and this time qualify for the Europa League. Let's move into season number 3. Right guys, season 3 is here, and we have been very busy in the transfer window to make ourselves just that little bit better. Calvin Ramsey, the big casualty, should I say, he has now gone. He's departed. He is now a Fulham player. Fulham bought him for £15 million, which coupled with our 3 million allowed me to go out and go on a little bit of a spending spree, and spending spree we kind of have done. So we brought in Eric Jr., Dima Mbebe, Ebimbe, sure, a central midfielder, comes in from PSG, Cameroonian, not been capped yet, but looks like a good little prospect. Coming in on a free transfer up to Scotland. I think he adds a little bit more athleticism, a little bit more legs to our central midfield. I think he can do a really good job for us. We've also brought in Shabani from Wolves. He was on a free transfer as well, as you can see, coming in. Not really played at all for Wolves in this year, in this game so far. I think he can be a good little shadow striker for us, offer a little bit of competition there. Morgan Fox as well comes in on a free transfer from Stoke to be a little bit of a bolster and probably take over as our first choice left back. We've also signed Casey Palmer. I want Dread looks like you. He, another Bristol City player, he was out of contract. I think he can offer, again, with Shabani, another bit of dynamic ability in that dynamic ability? No, bit of dynamic creativity in that central attacking midfield spot with that 16 flair, and he can definitely pass his way and unlock a defense. We've also signed Nat Phillips from Liverpool. He was transfer listed. I think we got him for 4.3 million pounds. Nat Phillips comes in, exceptional defender at this level. I expect him to go on and do very good things for us. We've also signed Anthony Ralston from Celtic for 400k. He is kind of the replacement for Ramsey, who has now left the club at right back. Looks solid, nothing overly spectacular on this guy. Deshaun Bernard comes in, again, another centre-back option. He comes from Manchester United. You can kind of see where we're spending the money, can't you? 1.1 million pounds on Deshaun Bernard. Again, adding that youth back into this aging back line. Cedric Itten also comes in, striker from Rangers, Swiss guy, not really done too much for Rangers in this time. 550k we bought him for. I think he added a different option to sort of help Marley Watkins in terms of scoring some of the goals. We also got Mika Marmol. We definitely added a lot of players this time around. He's a natural at left back, natural at centre back, coming from Barcelona. We paid a little bit of cash for him, £2 million for him. Again, another dynamic defender, good natural fitness, good pace. He's kind of much more of a Barca style, get on the ball and get playing sort of defender, and I'm kind of looking for that as well. Reece Williams again comes in on loan from Liverpool, another defender. We let a lot of defenders go, guys. I didn't feel the defense was really at the level, but he comes in on loan from Liverpool, and Jamie Donnelly comes in as a striker on loan from Tottenham. So the team's changed an awful lot since last season. If we quick pick without restriction our best 11, this is kind of where we're looking. We've got Doohan in goal, Ralston, Phillips, Bates, Marmol, Ferguson, McCory, Dina there, Shabani. Konate is back. He has managed to get himself a work permit. Work permit decision has been made, but that is because he is departing. He's going to Manchester City. Manchester City paid £2.6 million for the Ivorian. He had a little bit of time at Leganés last season, scored 7 in 16, came back to us, scored 6 in 18, and that prompted Manchester City to pay £2.6 million for him. We paid 250k, so it's good business on Karim Konate, but he is leaving potentially alongside Cedric Itten, so we're going to have to make a change at striker. Probably going to be Donnelly coming in, the guy on loan from Spurs. In terms of the competitions, we are in these 4 competitions. Europa Conference League as well. The coefficient went down in Scotland by finishing 3rd. We did not manage to qualify for the Europa League this time around. So we have the 3 domestic cup competitions and the Europa Conference League. In terms of the Premiership, let's have a look at that season preview. All again 20-1 now. We are really closing those odds, and we've got our first player in Marmol inside that Media Dream 11 for the start of the season, which is nice to see. We're making good strides. We are very much that 3rd place team. Let's see what happens come the end of the season. This is by far and away our best season so far. Season number 3. We've managed to get our hands on some silverware finally. We are the winners of the Premier Sports Cup. If we go into the final of this, we can see here that we have managed, come on game, we have managed to beat Celtic in extra time, 6-4. That we got the job done. Let's expand this so you can kind of see the goal scorers, but getting it done against Celtic in extra time, no real shame there. Very, very high goal scoring game here, but Lewis Ferguson scored from the penalty spot, own goal for them. Vicente Bejuin is how I'm going to say that guy's name. Cedric Itten got 2, the former Rangers man. Casey Palmer scored in extra time as well. So the goals from Casey Palmer and Cedric Itten being the decisive factors as Itten equalises in that 90th minute following an 88th minute penalty for Celtic. FM is ridiculous sometimes when you simulate it and you get results like this. But we managed to lift our first bit of silverware, knocked out in the quarterfinals of the Scottish Cup by St Johnstone, knocked out in the second knockout round of the Europa Conference League by Partizan. You guys will know my YouTube live save is with Red Star in Serbia. Partizan are their city rivals. Definitely doing a lot better than the Partizan do in my save, that's for sure. In the Premiership though, if we go into the stages and we expand this following the relegation playoff, top of the tree, we're not top of the tree, we're second in the league. We are the team behind Celtic. We've overtaken Rangers. We've got ourselves into the Champions League for next season. 88 points is our highest points return, and obviously we do get into that second spot. Celtic were absolutely rampant again, 95 points for them and 107 goals scored. We're moving in the right direction. We're gaining on Celtic, and I'm hoping the Champions League money for season number 4 will really help us there. Hamilton are the team relegated this season, and St Johnstone get into the Europa League by winning the cup, I assume. So fair play. Rangers dropping down into Europa Conference League after winning the division a couple of seasons ago. Not great for them. In terms of the home screen, if we go on there, Cedric Itten, good signing from Rangers for 550k, 31 goals for him. Nat Phillips, highest average rating. Dean Campbell with the most assists, and the team playing very well. In terms of goals scored, we were the second best team in the division. Goals conceded, we were the third best team. Lots of bookings though, 99 yellow cards, 4 red cards for the team as we move forward into season number 4 though. We do have £5.3 million in terms of that transfer budget and a massive 244k wage budget, which means we've got around £55,000 a week to play with in terms of that wage budget. So we're going to dive into that free transfer market again, I am sure. Transfer update for season 4 coming up now. So guys, there was a transfer from last season that I needed to catch you up on. Willian Ario, another central midfielder coming in. Very good central midfielder. He's a bit old, but he was on a free transfer coming out of Flamengo in Brazil. I thought, despite being 32 years of age, he still looks relatively solid. Gives us a little bit more in that central midfield spot. He came in towards the end of last season and did pretty darn well for us. In terms of this season, though, not really spent any money, guys, but we've kind of moved all the money into the wages. Jack Stevens comes in on a free transfer, central defender coming in from Southampton. He is on a pretty penny, £18,500 a week for Jack Stevens, a good little centre back for us. Tyler Roberts comes in from Leeds, the Welsh striker. Again, a little bit more of an option, more dynamic, more depth. He came in on a free transfer, but again, 12.75k a week for the Welsh international striker. Andy Zekiri comes in, another striker option. Obviously he can play on the left hand side as well, but we're not going to play him there. Another striker option, Swiss striker. He was released by Brighton, again 14.75k. You can see where we're spending our money, guys. We're kind of moving everything into the wage budget, and then we're moving on from there. And then in terms of everything, my biggest coup, in my opinion, Daniel Maldini comes in from AC Milan. He was transfer listed, was he, or was he released as well? He was released as well, so we signed him on a free transfer. No money spent. He's on 7.5k a week, and I think Daniel Maldini can go on to be a creative force up in Scotland. I really, really do believe that. And David Bates has left. He has gone to Dusseldorf over in the Bundesliga, I think they are. In terms of the team, we are going to quick pick without restriction our best 11, and this is the team to go into season number 4. Doing in goal, obviously he's been here the whole time. Ralston, Phillips, Stevens, Marmol, Ario, McCrory, Dina is there, Shabani's there, Sakiri is there alongside Itten. We've got 2 Swiss guys up front, but we've definitely got a lot more depth now. Lewis Ferguson, Deschamps Bernard, Daniel Maldini, Tyler Roberts, all of these really, really good players on the bench. I'm thinking this is going to be our best season so far, having finished second last year. In terms of the competitions, we are in the Champions League this time around, but we did finish second, so we go into the qualifying. We are in the 3rd qualifying round where we take on Trabzonspor of Turkey, and then obviously we do have the other cup competitions as well domestically, and that Cinch Premiership. If we go into the season preview, this is what everybody likes to see. We are now 10-1 to win the division. We don't have any of the players in the Media Dream 11 anymore, but 10-1 to win the title is not too bad. Celtic are 2-5 favourites though, so it's going to take a lot to overtake them. So let's get season 4 underway. Right then, guys, end of the season, season number 4. We did make it into the Champions League, but unfortunately knocked out at the group stage. No real surprise there. If you look at our group, we were in a group with Barcelona, Shakhtar Donetsk, and Roma. No victories for us, just 2 draws. We drew away in Rome and away in the Ukraine, and then 4 losses for the other results. No huge surprise coming in a group with Barcelona that we did not progress. Because we finished bottom, we didn't drop into the Europa League either. In terms of the Scottish Cup, it's kind of been a competition that I can't really get the team firing in. We're knocked out in the 5th round by Motherwell. Runners up in the Premier Sports Cup again. Us versus Celtic, a replay of the season before, and Celtic this time do get the edge, winning 1-0. If we go into the Cinch Premiership and expand the stages, and we take a look at the league table, we are champions. Season number 4, we have made our progress. We are now champions of Scotland. A very, very big achievement, managing to beat Celtic, who in my opinion did falter massively this time around. Too many draws by their standards. A very, very good season for us, and capitalising. We needed to be there to capitalise. 84 points, not our best points return. We got 88 points the season before, so not the best points return by any stretch, but somehow we managed to win ourselves that league title, which is absolutely massive. If we go onto the home screen, you can kind of see Cedric Itten, another top goal scorer performance from him. 20 goals this time around, not as many as last year. Deschamps Bernard, the highest average rating. Lewis Ferguson with 12 assists, doing very, very well. Second best in terms of goals scored, third best in terms of goals conceded. It's much the same every single year. But we've managed to win the league. It's the first league that we won since, let me have a look on the history. When was the last time they won the Cinch Premiership? Okay, so 40 years since they last won their last Scottish title. We've got our hands back on that trophy again, which is absolutely brilliant to see. In terms of the finances going into the 5th and final season, 5.5 million to spend as well. We've got a couple of players in the squad that are wanted, so this is going to be a big transfer window to see if we can hold on to that Scottish title. So we moved relatively quickly to make some additions to this team. Martin Saturano comes in from Inter Milan, a very, very well-renowned striker. I think he's fantastic all across the board in every single area. 15 finishing, 15 heading. I think he can be an absolute weapon in this Scottish division. We paid £3.7 million to the Serie A Giants for his services. After not a great time, it must be said, in Serie A, but I think Scotland, no offense guys, is probably a little bit of a step down from Inter Milan and the Serie A. So he comes in to kind of lead our line. In terms of some of the other transfers, Moise Caicedo comes in from Brighton on a free transfer. Now I signed this guy in my Red Star save. He was very good, rehabilitated his career after being released from Brighton, and I'm hoping we can do the same for him again. Currently does not have a work permit, leave that with me. If we go into the other free acquisition, Tyler Morton comes in on a free transfer from Liverpool. Again, he looks pretty good, nice and well-rounded. Another option for us in that midfield. 16 vision, good on both feet. It's kind of what I'm looking for, really. So that is basically all of the business that we've done going into this 5th and final season. If you guys are still here going into season number 5 of this Aberdeen rebuild, please comment down below. Sir Alex Ferguson is king. I think that'll be a nice, interesting one to see how many of you guys make it into season number 5. But this is the team that will be leading us to see if we can retain that Scottish title. We have Duan in goal, Bernard, Phillips, Stevens, Marmo, Dina, McCrory, Ferguson. Maldini's now a nailed on starter. Sakili alongside Satriano as the 2 strikers up top. I think this is our time. This is our time to go really, really hard. This is our time to win. We enter the group stage of the Champions League again, so we don't need to qualify this time around. And obviously we have to see if we can retain this Scottish title. If we go into the stages and we go into the season preview, we are 13-2 to win the title. We are still predicted to finish in 3rd again. Nobody in that media dream 11. Nobody's having us, guys. So this is the time to turn up and make ourselves known. Let's see you at the end of the season to see if we can retain that Scottish title. So guys, this is by far and away the most interesting season in season number 5. It has been absolute carnage from start to finish. In terms of the competitions, you can see the competition screen. We're knocked out in the semi-finals of the Premier Sports Cup by Celtic. However, having been really poor in the competition all of the way up until now, we have now won the Scottish Cup. Winning that one against Rangers 2-1 in extra time is a very, very good performance. I'm really happy with it. But in the Champions League, we were in a group again with Barcelona, Monaco and Ajax. We finished 3rd this time around on goal difference, dropping us down into the Europa League. And we were runners up in the Europa League, guys. It was so close, but we could not overcome Bayern Munich in the Europa League. Look at some of the winners of the Europa League in this save, by the way. Marseille, Spurs, Manchester United, Arsenal and Bayern. Why are Bayern in here? Absolutely ridiculous. If we go into the schedule, and I'm going to change the filter so that we can only see the Europa League, so you can see the results that we had once we moved into there. There is the Europa League. So first and foremost, we take on Lazio in the knockout stages. We absolutely pumped them 6-0 at home. 2 hat-tricks for both of our strikers, doing really well there. Then we head over to Italy and we lose 2-0. SMS with the 2 goals for Lazio, but doesn't matter. We go through 6-2 on aggregate. We then take on Bayern Leverkusen again at home. We do very well, 4-2 in that game. And then we draw the game in Germany 2-2. Tyler Roberts getting the 2 goals for us there, but we go through 6-4 on aggregate. Then we go back to Italy. We take on Atalanta. We beat them 1-0 at home. Then we beat them 2-1 in Italy as well. Sakiri on the goal scoring warpath, doing very well. We take on Sevilla in the semi-finals. We lose 3-2 in Spain, but that puts us in a good position because we beat them 2-0 at home. Diego Carlos gets sent off just before we score our 2nd goal, sending us through to that final. And then we take on Bayern Munich in the final, and I'm going to expand this just so you can see the teams and stuff. We take on Bayern Munich in the final. We lose 3-2. They're the much better team. It's Bayern, isn't it? So Sabitzer, Musiala and Thomas Muller score the goals, but as you can see, the players that they've got here, Kimmich, Ginter, Hernandez, Alphonso Davies, Sabitzer, Musiala, Sane, Goretzka, they've got a very, very good team here. And some of the other players that they've got on the bench, Julian Weigl is one of them, Icone, Kingsley Coman, Richarlison, Julian Alvarez, who they bought as well. This Bayern team is very, very stacked and should not be in the bloody Europa League, but they win the final. Unfortunately, not this time around. If we go into the competitions, the Cinch Premiership, Celtic are champions. Unfortunately, with all the other competitions going on, we just couldn't hold on to Celtic. They are Centurions. They win the league back from us. They're 20 points clear. We do finish in second. We are the second best team in Scotland this time around. Just couldn't hold on to Celtic. Only 2 draws against Dundee and Hibs, and then 3 losses. They lost to us and they lost to Rangers, but yeah, not really the season to hold on to Celtic with all the other competitions going on. So we've won a Scottish League, we've won a Scottish Cup, and we're runners up in the Europa League as Aberdeen. If any Aberdeen fans are checking this video out, let me know down in the comments if you think this would be a fantastic season for you. I think we've restored some pride to Aberdeen, some of the pride that Sir Alex Ferguson installed in the club. I don't think we did as well as Sir Alex because obviously we didn't have that European success, but in terms of Scottish Premiership, I think we've relatively turned them into a bit of a powerhouse again, going into future seasons. If you go into the finances, guys, got 4.2 million to spend on budget. So if you wanted to pick this save up, which you can do, I put all my rebuilds live in my Discord channel. There is one there for rebuilds. You can go and pick up this save and take over from this point in June 2026. And see if you can take Aberdeen to the next level. Can you win them a Champions League from this point? I think I've given you some good grounding. Let me know if you can do it. But until next time, guys, here is another rebuild. I'm going to pop it up on the screen somewhere. Please go and check that one out. And until next time, guys, take care of yourselves, take care of each other. I'll see you on another one very, very soon.